few cars coming into position. I can see the marshal on the gantry opposite our commentary position is poised, ready to show us the 5-second board, and then we'll be underway for 15 minutes of racing. Once he's put that down and flicked the switch that changes the lights from red to off, which he does now, and away they go, and a pretty even start from the two on the front row initially at least. There's Josh Larkin, you can see scooting through shot there, but how does it pan out as they head up towards Richie's Corner? Well, it is Gary Preble in the lead of the race, certainly, but a very, very busy track behind him with quite a variety of cars. Not quite everyone has made it through safely, though, I don't think, Josh.
No, well, Tony Perfect is there, but it is Ian Williamson that has spun at Ritchie's. Ian Williamson, the double Class B winner from last time out at Silverstone, has had a spin. Trevor Gregory is sideways, Josh Larkin is sideways. It's slippery down at the Wilson hairpin. We've noted that is one of the wetter parts of the circuit, but it's Ian Williamson that's had the spin at Ritchie's. So he's dropped to the back, which has always more contact there. That's Josh Larkin going for a spin, and he collects another car. Everybody else goes around the outside of him, but it's a damaged Citroen Saxo, isn't it, of Josh Larkin?
Yeah, that's a shame, because he'd qualified well, as you say, so he's dropping down the order. Not necessarily bad news for people like David Drinkwater, who would have been concerned that points might have been taken off him.
Yeah, he's leading Class C. He's got ahead of William Hornsey as well.
Yeah, so there he is in the middle of shot there in the red BMW that's sort of being a little bit swallowed up by a couple of the cars either side of them. But I think those are both Class B cars ahead of him, including both of them Civics, of course, there. And they're turning their way through Oggies now. Hornsey only just behind David Drinkwater, though, isn't he?
And then behind him is Dan Gibbs in one of the Golfs that went well here last year too. And then that's Wayne Shackelford. So the top four in Class C, I suppose as you'd expect on that one of the race, are absolutely together as they turn their way out of Wilson. Drinkwater over the curbs. Rear-wheel drive car, I think the only one, isn't it? Everybody else front-wheel drive cars, and that's is very much different, therefore, how you drive those cars. They make their way down into the S's, and Dan Gibbs has gone alongside William Hornsey in the background. I think he might have gone through, in fact, off the Peugeot. We'll see that when they come out the corner. It's Drinkwater that still leads. No, Hornsey held on to second there in Class C, but here we look at the Honda Civic of Trevor Collar as he makes his way through, ahead of Matt Rowling, who we've seen in a Citroen Saxo before. He's out in a Civic, which is a change to the entry, I think.
As Gary Preble already comes through to complete lap number 1 of the race, well out in front of the rest, several seconds ahead of Tony Perfect, 3.5 seconds ahead of Tony Perfect in second place. I think that car that we just saw on shot there was the one that was brushed by the spinning Josh Larkin, wasn't it? So that is the car that's just gone across the line. I think, is that Chris McCloy's car, I think, in 8th place, possibly.
And those moments, particularly for Ian Williamson, have spread out the Class B cars somewhat. Tony Perfect leads Phil Wright by 3 seconds. So Phil Wright made a good start, but he has lost time. See, Trevor Gregory's car's got a dent in the corner there. We saw a lot of contact, didn't we, down at Wilson on that first lap as everyone was going sideways. So I think Trev's one-off appearance might mean a bit of repair work after the weekend, but he's still going there, second within Class A and 6th overall, so that's been a good start for him from what was 8th.
Yeah, absolutely. Birthday boy enjoying a birthday treat. I noticed that the board that Nicky Emerson was waving to him said 40, but Facebook says he's 37, so someone's telling poor kids one way or another. Anyway, around Agostini they go for the second time, and it's a bit of damage on the bonnet of that Chris McCloy car after that contact. I couldn't work out if the bonnet might be starting to flap a little bit there, but I don't think it is. That's the 37 car in 8th place. Sean Green having got ahead of Trevor Gregory on this lap already and up into 6th position, but they're turning their way through Oggies and up towards Williams and onto the Bentley Straight. And a good little scrap fist going on between Trevor Gregory's car, which is notionally Class A, but probably in terms of performance more like a Class B car. But keeping McCloy's little Civic, nicely turned out car, that one actually, at bay for the moment.
Ian Williamson, after that spin, got back past 10 cars before the end of the lap, so he got back to 19th.
Wow.
Here are the Class C cars. Drinkwater ahead of Gibbs. There's the damaged car of Larkin that started on pole within that category. So that says to me Gibbs has got ahead of Hornsey. Yeah, Hornsey's lost a number of places. Here is Ian Williamson, who I just mentioned, clawing his way back through the field. And not just for the result of this race, but for the grid for race 2, which is set by the results of this one. Ian Williamson wants to get up as far as possible, doesn't he, to look for a good result later. Down the inside, there are car 7, Cameron Elder. So this is another, half dozen places gained, something like that for Ian Williamson. He's really come on, hasn't he, from when he started out in stock catch, 5 or so years ago. Was a front runner in Class C, but always seemed to finish behind David Drinkwater. And now he's got this ex-Rodram Vela car. He's absolutely flying.
Yeah, he's going really well.
Apart from that spin, obviously.
Well, yeah, but he's come back from it well, which is the important point. There's the battle for 7th and 8th going through Riches, which is still Trevor Gregory and Chris McCloy, Renault against Honda. Nice to see the sort of multi-mark nature of Hot Hatch well demonstrated here, and indeed you've got different iterations of the Honda Civic as well in this racing, including the earlier car of Gary Preble out front, but a much more modified car that he has.
Gary Preble, 2 minutes 13.9. He's 7 seconds away from the lap record, so that's the closest we've been so far during the course of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here are the Class C cars. There's Drinkwater ahead of Dan Gibbs. Now, can we get a Golf taking a Class C win for the first time? That's what Dan Gibbs would like to do, isn't it? And he was right on terms with David Drinkwater there. Third within class, but falling away now is William Hornsey. Fourth, returning to the category after a bit of low-cost racing, is Paul Keynes. And fifth is Wayne Shackelford. So great to see so many Class B and Class C cars. You mentioned Class A not so well populated, but the other two classes are absolutely booming.
98, Paul Warren into the pit, so we've lost one, I'm afraid, as we watch this battle going on for 7th and 8th position. It's a good little fight, as I say. Heading down the Bentley Straight once again, it's 83 Trevor Gregory, blue Clio, and 37 the grey Civic of Chris McCloy. And just up ahead of them you can see Sean Green in the white car.
You can see where that damage is just rubbing against the tyre of McCloy, isn't it? Well, it seems to be just at the end of the straight, strangely. So hopefully that doesn't cause him any problems.
Just behind them you've got is the next car through. It was Matt Rowling, wasn't it? Is that still the case that he's there next up as McCloy makes a move? No, it's the Civics now, isn't it? One of which is Williamson.
I think it is Rowling. The entry says a Saxo, but I think he's changed to a Civic for this weekend. Side by side for Outer Coram. Trevor Gregory was a winner here at Snetterton in the past, wasn't he? In the Clio 182 series, as it was then. Battling away with Chris McCloy. Then I think it is Rowling and Williamson behind, still in that order.
Over the line goes that battle, and there you can see Williamson about to make up another place by the looks of it as they go into Rich's corner. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. He's gone through there.
Is that rain spots on the camera down there at Richie's?
I'm looking out of the window, which is looking in that general direction. I can't tell whether it's raining or not, really, but certainly it's getting close here, isn't it? As Williamson's going to come through, you've got McCloy there alongside Trevor Gregory now, but he's going to be on the wrong line for the left-hander at Palmer. He's going to make it through. It's Gregory that holds on.
Just a note, at the front of Class B, Tony Perfect still leads, but to a reducing gap to Phil Wright.
Only slightly reducing. It was only 800ths on that lap.
Yeah, well, I think perhaps it was the lap before, because it was a 3-second gap. Now it's 2.3 seconds. There's Williamson. He's just passed all of them, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Down into Agostini.
Nice sort of little straight down there, isn't it, between Palmer and Agostini? And he's clearly got more power than both of these cars. He could get through relatively easily, it seems.
The Class B car outpowering the Class A machine.
Yes. Oh, and a little love tap there from a little birthday kiss, maybe, from Chris McCloy on the back of Trevor Gregory there, and no real harm done to either of them. They are trying to fend off now the 147 car of Matt Rowling, which is just in behind them. Might get the better of them on the straight, though, by the looks of it.
Looking at the livery on that Civic, it looks like it's an X-Time Attack car that Matt Rowling has got himself in for this weekend. That he is got ahead of Chris McCloy, and he also gets past Trevor Gregory, so he's done sort of similar to what Ian Williamson did a couple of corners ago and passed them both in one go. So Matt Rowling is, what would that be, 8th for him, Ian Williamson 7th, and this is now the battle for 9th between Gregory and McCloy that turn their way through. The Renault Clio there, the first of the non-Honda, isn't it, that Trevor's in?
Yep, 5.5 minutes or so to go in this race. It is still being led by number 91, Gary Preble from number 169, Tony Perfect, who did a personal best lap last time through on lap 4 and edged out another 2/10 over Phil Wright. Paul Bancroft, 53, is in 4th place. 18, Chris Smith, 5th, and 33, Sean Green, rounding out the top 6. Class C still being led by David Drinkwater in 12th place overall in the number 1 compact.
I think Tony Perfect looking for his first victory within class here. Leads by 2.5 seconds, as you say, getting away from Phil Wright. There's definitely spots on rain on the camera lens there at Ritchie's, isn't there?
Not very heavy ones, and I think Chris McCloy's got a problem there because he's going very slowly all of a sudden, or more slowly than he was.
Yeah, everybody doing personal best, so like you say, that's not really affecting anybody just yet, is it?
Look at that. Only 3 wheels in contact with the tarmac as he went into Wilson there, as he was hard on the brakes.
He's not going to go quick in a straight line. Obviously, he was pushing on through the corner. But yeah, there's problems with that car, isn't there? David Drinkwater only leads by 6/10 in Class C over Dan Gibbs. So that, again, might be a battle to pick up on in the final stages.
Yeah, Drinkwater lost a couple of places on track on that lap. Oh, and that's quite a big moment in the end.
Callum Houchin.
For Callum Houchin. And, yeah, he's dug some of the turf up as well on the exit of Palmer. He wasn't in the top 17, I can tell you. He was in the 13th position. I was looking for the wrong number.
Here's Ian Williamson trying to pass Sean Green. So this will be for 6th. Williamson not yet on Class B at fastest lap pace. That has actually gone to Tony Perfect, that 2:15.12 that you mentioned a minute or so ago. But Williamson going for P6 here, which is a good recovery drive if he can manage it. Sean Green, though, putting up a defence, but not enough of a defence to slow down Ian Williamson. That goes through the speedy carry through the corner is pretty good there, wasn't it, for the Silverstone race winner, and he won the Drive of the Weekend award there at Silverstone for his performances. That's backed by Talk Raceway.
Yeah, indeed. And company of Martin Farmer, who was in Formula V action last week at Alton Park, with a couple of third places. There's Trevor Gregory. There is the 147 car just ahead of him, rolling.
Tony Perfect, by the way, just 3 seconds off the Class B lap record, so we're not far away from a dry lap time, are we?
No. Conditions are improving all the time, that's for certain. We've only got less than 3 minutes of this race left to go. Tony Preble's best lap at 2:11.82 in the Class A car. You do wonder if he might be able to do better lap times than that because he's not really got much in the way of opposition. Yeah. There's Josh Larkin.
Car still falling, or trying to fall to pieces, but it's just holding on, doesn't it, that front bumper?
Might even be better if it did fall off in terms of any issues with the car. Now, there you go, there's a clue that there might be some rain. A quick wipe of the windscreen there from Larkin. On 169, Tony Perfect, then he's our second place man, but our Class B leader, and he's leading it by, 2.5 seconds than Philip Wright. So 2.5 seconds between Perfect and Wright.
Yes, that stayed pretty static, hasn't it? I thought perhaps Phil Wright was starting to close, but maybe not. They're way ahead of the rest. Paul Bancroft third in class, 15 seconds behind. A change for Class C lead here into Palmer because Dan Gibbs has gone down the inside of David Drinkwater, but Drinkwater trying to hang on the outside line. So this is the battle for the Class C lead. David Drinkwater's won every race so far, and Dan Gibbs has come second in every race so far, but Gibbs is keen to change that here at Snetterton. He's on the inside line of Drinkwater. Drinkwater hanging on, though, in the rear-wheel drive BMW on the exit of the hairpin. Drinkwater, a busy afternoon he's got because he's got another hot hatch race to do, and in the middle of it he's doing the road sports too in that BMW compact that is just holding on to the class lead, Ian.
Yep, indeed. So as they make their way up towards the right-hander at Palmer, at Williams, that brings them on to the back straight, the Bentley straight. Good scrap going on, red car and the green car having a race, and they are heading down the Bentley straight. They've got the Integra just ahead of them as well. Nice to see that out. But again, Gibbs trying to pull out here and get alongside into Brundle, which he's not able to do. Through Nelson they go. They, I think, will get one more lap out of this, which Gary Preble is already on, 7th lap, and what will be the final lap of the race, I reckon.
Ian Williamson's gained another place on the most recent lap, ahead of Chris Smith now for 5th, and I think that's as far as he's going to get. Conditions, are they starting to worsen a little bit now? Possibly. We've seen more cars with wipers on, haven't we?
Yeah, not so much green on the timing screen, which is usually a giveaway, isn't it?
We just saw Gary Preble there, who continues to lead. There's the Class C battle. As Ian said, they've got 1 lap to go, but Drinkwater's extended his margin over the Volkswagen. Good to see a number of the Mark II Golfs out today. It does look a bit more bleak, doesn't it, on the screens there?
Yeah, definitely spots of rain out there now as we come into the final. Well, those going to the final lap of the race, almost finished his final lap of the race, is Gary Preble. There's the 53 car of Paul Bancroft, who's in 4th position at the moment in the Access Drilling Services entered car. But here is Gary Preble. He's putting a lap on the number 4:2:06 of Simon Hutchings as he comes out of Murray's. He sprints up to the line, and it's going to be 5 wins out of 5 for Gary Preble in the PBS Brakes Hot Hats Championship.
It's another race that Gary Preble has won that I've been covering this year. Won a number of them at Castle Combe as well.
Well, he's moving up the Autosport rankings as well, isn't he? They're keeping track in Autosport again this year of the number of wins that drivers have across various categories, and Gary Preble is moving up that list, and this will do him no harm at all. Second place across the line there was Tony Perfect, 18, maybe 19 seconds behind Gary Preble in the end, and Philip Wright in 3rd place.
Good drive there from Tony Perfect to take the Class B victory.
Yeah, well done to him.
And he ended up, nearly 5 seconds even clear of Phil Wright by the end. And they're both a long way clear of anybody else.
Yeah, Paul Bancroft has just gone across the line there in 4th position, car number 53. Yeah, 17 seconds behind the car in front of him. So really good performances by Perfect and Wright. So it was a perfect performance. Here comes Ian Williamson, so that is a good comeback drive from him. His lap times, well, everyone's lap times dropping off towards the end. Interesting, Paul Bancroft did his best lap on the last lap of the race. And so too did Chris Smith in 6th position, which is interesting as the conditions were deteriorating. Maybe different tyres because there was a bit of freedom in the tyres in this. That goes Trevor Gregory across the lines. Have had Chris Smith 6th, Sean Green 7th, Trevor Gregory 8th in the end, and 2nd within Class A. We'll get a trophy for that. 9th to Chris McCloy in the Civic, and 10th to Matt Rowling in the more modern version of the car. 11th to number 7 Cameron Elder, 12th number 31 Trevor Collar, 13th number 65 Ben Morton. That's the Integra that we saw, and then I think David Drinkwater across the line in 14th. Yes, he was, but only by about 0.6 of a second from Dan Gibbs. So David Drinkwater winning Class C, and again Dan Gibbs second in Class C, which has been the way of things so far this year, Josh.
Absolutely. You've got to remember David Drinkwater is such an experienced driver as well. He was racing at Nürburgring 24 Hours just a few weeks ago. So maybe his experience level is slightly outpowering some of the Class C competition. He's against a lot of novices, really, isn't he? Again, it's somebody good to, if you're able to beat him or go after him like Dan Gibbs was, it's a real good achievement, therefore.
Yeah, it's a benchmark, isn't he, David Drinkwater? And of course, last year's champion as well. And he's looking good here to retain his title because he's had 5 wins. Did he get the fastest lap within the class? No, he didn't. So he's dropped a point for the first time this season. Dan Gibbs, I think it was, that's got the Class C fastest lap. I've not checked all the way down, but I suspect it was him. So he gets a bonus point for that. So Hot Hatch, they're out for a second time later on, the final race of the day here at Snetterton. But they then do have 2 more races to go at Silverstone next month to round out the 2020 PBS Brakes Hot Hatch Championship. Gary Preble winning Class A, not able to pick up 4 points though for that because of the lack of support for that particular class, which is a great shame. Hopefully something will be done to get more cars out in the future. So we are just waiting then for our winners to head into Parc Ferme.
I think it's properly raining now, isn't it? So I think everybody just about got away with it in that race.
I think so, and just looking at what we've got after lunch, it's the Sports 1000s, and again there'll be, although they all run on treaded tyres, there'll be a choice between the wet set and the dry set, and that was a similar dilemma to what they had for qualifying.
It just
in
seems
Sports 1000.
Just feels like it's going to be like this all day. Just as the track dries out, it starts to rain again.
Yeah, it's got that feel about it. Also this afternoon we've got the Tiguan Road Sports Series, Swallow Hill Homes F1000 and Race Park 750 Formula as well. Those are the categories that we've not seen so far today that hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit later on. But let's now head down to Matt Suckling with our race winner.